and welcome to Sport Vibes on DNTWOK. My name is Bolaji Alimi and I'm your host, the Sport Pilot, here yet again to give you a ride across the world of sports. And this week we'll be focusing on football. Weeks back we've been talking about several other sports, but this time around it's time to shift our attention back to the game of football. And definitely, as you know, right now in the world of football, especially in club football, what is trending right now is transfers. Quite a number of players seeking to move away from their previous club or their current club to another one, seeking greener pastures because this is the World Cup year. And of course, clubs also looking to advance. Some qualified for Europa League, for Champions League, and several clubs across Europe trying to do better than they did last season. We'll be looking at a very key transfer that has just been concluded in the world of sports and taking lessons as usual from that. Stay tuned and get set for this ride. Welcome back to Sport Vibes on DNTWOK. So let's dive right in. There's no point in going around the cycles. We'll just go straight to the points. This week we're talking about a key transfer that has just been concluded after several weeks of negotiations, rumor here and there, other clubs trying to steal a bid in and all these things. But to break the news to you, if you're just hearing that now, Arsenal Football Club of England have completed the signing of Brazilian international Gabriel Jesus from Manchester City. Of course, another Premier League club selling a player to a Premier League rival. That is such a rare thing to see, especially among the big teams. But this time around, this is happening. You could put that down to the kind of relationship between Manchester City and Arteta, Mikel Arteta, the current Arsenal boss, or you could say the relationship between Gabriel Jesus himself and Mikel Arteta, because Mikel Arteta, the present Arsenal manager, used to be an assistant manager at Manchester City under Pep Guardiola. And quite a number of things could be said as to why the deal has eventually happened. But don't forget, it took a long while. A lot of challenges had to be surmounted on the way for Arsenal. But the most important news definitely is that the deal is now done and dusted. So in light of this, I will be taking you through one or two things about Gabriel Jesus, what it's set to offer Arsenal, and of course we take our own lesson from that. What can we look at in this story, this long saga of transfer drama? What can we learn from this? How do we apply that to our own personal endeavors? And so let's start with this fact, the fact that Gabriel Jesus himself is an established player in the Premier League. Of course, that is an advantage for any club trying to sign a player in the Premier League. We've seen Brazilian stars in the past. Arsenal themselves can talk about players like Wellington Silva, Andre Santos, quite a number of Brazilian players to apply their trade at Arsenal, but many of them did not really do as well as maybe the likes of Ed Gaspar, who is currently the technical director and doing so well with the transfers now. But you just want to talk about the fact that Arsenal have gotten their man. This is a man they have targeted for a long time. Even Mikel Arteta confirmed that this is a man they've been looking at for a long time, and the club has done a tremendous job to finally get the deal over the line. So quickly, let's take a lesson from that very fact that the club had to persevere. They had to endure a lot of struggles to ensure they got their man. Many times ourselves, there are certain things we're pursuing. It could be in academics. There's this certain course you really want to study. That is the course of your passion. And then because of how valuable it is, there are many contenders for it. And then it seems like, maybe your choice university, your choice institution may not accept you, or there's just a lot of challenges. It's so much contended for, and then you feel like maybe I should just settle for another course. There's no point in troubling myself and going through all the stress. My brother, my sister, my fellow audience, I'd like to assure you that if that is your passion, if that is what you're willing to do, your desire, it is worth going the extra mile for. Because truly, when you're in a field you have passion for, when you're in that field where you really have a lot of interest, a lot of things comes easy, because you have this energy you generate naturally when you're doing something you love doing. You don't have to think, oh, today is yet another day of work, I have to, because you literally enjoy what you're doing. So it's just like you living your life and just working alongside. So you can connect that with Arsenal. This is a man they have looked forward to signing for a long time. At some point, there were rumors that big clubs like Chelsea were interested, other clubs vying for this same man, Gabriel Jesus, who will not fight for a man who has had 4 Premier League titles in the bag within the space of few years. He got to the Premier League in 2017, January 2017. Of course, it was signed in 2016, but could not join because of certain things. You know, the Brazilian league is different in terms of their calendar to the Premier League, and eventually he joined Manchester City and Pep Guardiola in January 2017. 4 Premier League titles, 1 FA Cup, 3 League Cups, and a lot of other accolades to him. 95 goals in just about 236 appearances for Manchester City, and of course last season he scored 8 goals in 21 appearances for Pep Guardiola's men, and that could be put down to the fact that he played most of the time on the wings. So for a player starting on the wings, and of course I should mention that he had 8 assists as well, so he directly contributed, he was directly involved in 16 goals for Manchester City in just 21 starts, not appearances now, just 21 starts from the beginning. There's a difference between appearance and starts. You're talking about a player beginning the match with the team, and of course the ones that feature generally maybe coming up from the bench and so on. So for Gabriel Jesus, regardless of how you look at it, the statistics look so well for a forward player who is still very young, just 25 years of age. You could still say his best years are ahead of him. So for Arsenal, a good deal. Rumored to be around £45 million, and £45 million in today's market is really, really low for a player of that standard. Of course, that is also debatable. So we keep our fingers crossed to observe and see how Gabriel Jesus does for Arsenal. A lot of things have been said. Quite a number of things has been said. A lot of expectation. Maybe it's the next this, the next that, as you would normally have in clubs. The next legend, the next person to lead the club to a title challenge after so much time. And also part of his accolades, you should also mention that Gabriel Jesus is a Brazilian international. 56 appearances for the Brazilian national team, 19 goals. He has won the Copa America. He won the Copa America 2019 with the club. He won the gold medal with Team Brazil at the 2016 Rio Olympic Games. He featured at the 2018 FIFA World Cup in Russia. So we're not talking about a newbie or a JJC, as some would put it. This is not someone just coming. This is not a new kid on the block, be it in the Premier League or on the international scene. This is someone who knows the game. He's been around. He's played against the best of players across the world. And of course, even in the match which Manchester City sadly lost from their own perspective to Real Madrid in the semi-finals last season, he played a crucial role in both legs. Of course, it was a disappointment for them, but from an individual perspective, Gabriel Jesus maybe was one of those players who could hold up his head high even after that defeat. So as we wrap up on Sport Vibes this week, I'd like to hammer in again the lesson for the week. It's all about taking that lesson from the story of Arsenal, persevering and waiting for Gabriel Jesus. They had other options, they had other players they could have gotten much easily. Just go to a club beneath them in the table or another club in the Serie A, in other leagues across Europe, and get a seemingly talented striker or another good striker. But definitely when you're coming into the Premier League, there's a lot of doubts hanging over you. You could put the failure of clubs like Chelsea to sign DNTWOK, who is also a Brazilian player. You could put all these things down to the fact that this club had doubts in the past as to how imported players, in quotes, would do when you bring them into the Premier League. It's a different game entirely. You just talk about Romelu Lukaku, left the Premier League for just a season or two and then came back. He couldn't really get off the chair. Of course, maybe that's not just about the difference in the league. You could say there were other reasons from Chelsea's perspective. But the point we're trying to make is that it's not so easy to get a new player from another club and get them acclimatized to the Premier League so easily. So Arsenal waiting to get a top player within the Premier League from a top rival takes a lot of work, and you should give them kudos to that. And so to myself and you, let's put in a lot of work to what we are doing as well. That very career you aspire to, to follow the path of your chosen career, just stick to it. It may not be lucrative yet, it may not be so popular, it may seem difficult getting along that road. Just persevere. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. And away from external things as business, you could also put this down to the fact that sometimes there's every tendency you want to lower the standard of your business because of the public opinion. People don't feel it should be this good, or people won't patronize me if it's this standard. Just stick with what you believe, and with time, if you are consistent, with time, the world has a way of bending down to your values if you are consistent with them. And finally, which is the most important point on these same notes, is the fact that away from external things as business, away from external things as academics, our own character, our own attitude as well, we can ensure we keep the godly standard that we've had so far. Thank you so much for joining us on Sport Vibes this week. That's it for this episode. Until next time, I remain Bolaji Alibe, the Sport Pilot. I hope you enjoyed this ride. Thank you for your patience. Until next time, keep the standards high. Thank you so much for watching Sport Vibes on DNTWOK. If you enjoyed the video, ensure you subscribe, like, and share the video. Thank you.